And we're affected by these people because we live here. You'll find, for an example, as Arabs, where you brothers come from, you can get married to your cousin. You get married to your cousin. But when you come here, this is a hate thing to get married to your cousin. Now we have to look at the environment that we're in, and you have to practice based upon the reality. But we're not going to make haram what non-Muslims don't like us to do. For an example, when a lady gets married, she takes on the name of her husband. Like my mother. My mother's last name is Starr, S-T-A-R-R. That's a beautiful last name. Nejm is her last name. When she married my father, his last name is Lipscomb. Lipscomb. I never liked that name. Lipscomb. It's an ism murakkab. I don't know who came up with that name. Lipscomb. I rather the name Starr to this day. But because they grew up here, they lived here, she takes the name of the husband. In our religion, Abadan. That's my daughter, Maymuna Khalifa Adh-Dhahabi. That's my daughter. She gets married to a man, she's gonna keep that daughter, keep that name. Because Yawm al-Qiyamah, nakum tud'awna bi asma'ikum wa asma' aba'ikum. You're gonna be called out by your name and the name of your family, your father. So make a nice name for your children. Don't give them difficult names. But by living here, we have to be aware. Like my oldest son is Usaamah. There was a time, if I had a son, I wouldn't call him Usaamah because he's going to get problems in the school. When Usaamah bin Laden, rahimahullah, ghafarallahu lahu, when all of that drama was going on, it may not be wise to call yourself Usaamah, although it's a beautiful name in its meaning. It's a heavy name. So when my boy had that name, they were calling him Usaamah bin Laden, Usaamah bin Laden. He got tired of that. So he will always fight people because that's what happened. So now I will have to think of my environment that I'm living in. And I wouldn't say that that name is haram, but I have to look at how we're dealing with the situation. As it relates to Ibrahim, this is really, really important about being a Muslim, what it is to be a Muslim. The meaning of a Muslim or al-Islam that one of the scholars gave is that Islam consists of three components. They have to be inside of the person. They said that al-Islam, the meaning of it is al-istislam lillah bit-Tawhid wal-inqiyadu lahu bit-ta'ah wal-bara'atu min al-shirk wal-mushrikeen. That's a Muslim. He has to do those three things. Al-istislam lillahi bit-Tawhid, that he submits to Allah with Tawheed. He can't say, as many Muslims say, I'm a Muslim, submission. Yeah, submission. But although I'm submitting, I believe that Rasulullah is everywhere. I believe that Rasulullah never died. I believe Rasulullah knows the ilm al-ghayb. I make istighatha bi ghayrillah. I make dua to other than Allah. I'm afraid other than Allah. I have a tawakkul on other than Allah. I worship people in the grave, and I'm a Muslim. I'm not going to make takfir of the person, but you didn't make istislam. That's true. You have to make submitting to Allah with only worship Him alone. وَالْإِنْقِيَادُ لَهُ بِالطَّاعَةِ, and you have to obey Him. I'm a Muslim, but I don't pray. My heart is white. I have a clear heart, but I don't wear hijab. I don't pray. And you have some people have these shubahat. They're not being mutafalsif. They just believe that because he may have good akhlaq. He gives a lot of money to the masjid. He does birru walidain. He's ameen. If someone left a wallet in his car and he was a taxi driver and there were $5,000 in that, he's going to call him up and give him that money back. Not expecting anything except from Allah. That's it. But he doesn't pray. And he's a person who says, I don't pray because, but my heart is good. I know people pray and they steal, they drink, they beat up their wives and so forth and so on. No, you have to obey Allah. Meaning, again, like I mentioned yesterday, that doesn't mean you're ma'soom, you don't make any sins. When you make a sin, you have to make tawbah in Allah. Al-inqiyad lahu bit-ta'ah. You have to, there was a group of people there called the Murji'ah. They were in the past, but they're here today. And that's the person who says, I don't have to do the deeds. I don't have to spend my money for Umrah and Hajj. I don't have to. It's not wajib upon me to do infaq upon my father or so forth. No. You have to obey Allah to the best of your ability. And then the third one is the one we want to talk about. Al-bara'atu min ash-shirk wal-mushrikeen. If you don't clear yourself from shirk and mushrikeen, you're not a real Muslim. You're a Muslim, but there's some da'f in your Islam. You have to separate yourself from the shirk and the mushrikeen. You have to. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means a lot. It means you can't fall into shirk in any shape, form, or fashion. Any shape, form, or fashion. You have to be hanif, clear from shirk. Can't do shirk. You can't make divination of arrows, things like that. You can't believe in horoscopes, all of that stuff. The rain came down because this or that. Can't believe in that. The werewolf. You know the werewolf? When I was growing up, they had Dracula, that Frankenstein, that Dracula. When the moon gets full moon, there's a better, then, it's a fact. It appears, Allahu Alam, that when there's a full moon, Allahu Alam, it affects the tide. That happens. And they also say it affects the behavior of people, that a lot of murders, criminality takes place more at this time. So they had the werewolf that as soon as the moon got full, the man turned into a wolf and he started killing people. We grew up afraid of people with beards because we said, oh, it could be a werewolf. Like this brother's beard, Barakallah fihi. Barakallah. We will look at that beard and equate it with werewolf. That's khurafat. So as a Muslim, I come into the religion, I don't believe in that. The chicken that you eat, the chicken. There is the wishbone. You know the wishbone? My family, we would sit and as we eating, we would get the wishbone and give it to my brother and say, make a wish. And you break it. That's shirkum billah. That bone and you breaking the bone is not going to help you. Africans, where I come from, West Africa, they go to the kahin, the soothsayer. He tells them the future. He takes some bones and throws them out and reads for you your future. Anybody who goes to those people, faqad kafar bima unzila ala Muhammad. You disbelieve. That's not our religion. Freeing yourself from the mushrikeen is three things. Three things. And you can remember them because all three start with an ayn. Al-bara'atu min ash-shirk wal-mushrikeen. Freeing yourself from the mushrikeen means three things. Three things. And they all start with an ayn to help you remember. Before I mention this, it does not mean we have to be mean and nasty to non-Muslims. Doesn't mean that. We're allowed to marry women from Ahlul Kitab. And if you marry a woman from Ahlul Kitab, your wife, you will love her. So it's possible you can love her, but you don't love her kufr. She's your wife. She has relatives. You treat them nice. People work with them, us. We treat them nice. We go to school. I have a professor in the school. I have to respect him. He's teaching me. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. Allah doesn't make it impermissible for you to be nice and just to those people who don't fight you for your deen, nor do they expel you. They're nice people. They are nice people. Like some of these people who are protesting for the rights of Muslims. They're protesting for the rights of Muslims right now. Some of them lost their jobs. Some Muslims, now Muslims have good akhlaq. So it doesn't mean that we always have to be bad to them, that we can't say to them, good morning. Qulu linnasi husna. Say nice things to people. But saying good morning, good evening, how are you, is different from saying Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas and even Happy New Year. That's right on the, the gray area. Because even in, I told you, their days and their months is a problem. إِنَّمَا النَّسِيءُ زِيَادَةٌ فِي الْكُفْرِ. That's an ayah in the Quran. Surah At-Tawbah. And Nasi is that the Kuffar Quraysh, they used to delay the sacred months, the Ashhur al-Hurum. So they would say, okay, this is Muharram. We're going to make it not sacred this month, and we're going to pillage and fight and kill. And then the following month, we'll make it sacred. So they were making a tala'ub with the months, the Ashhur al-Hurum. And that ayah was revealed to tell people, don't play with the time. Inna Allaha huwa ad-dahr yuqallibu layla wan nahar. Allah is the time. He makes the day and the night. So in Al-Islam, we go by that moon religiously. The mushrikun, they go by the sun because of all of that stuff they believe in. All of that stuff that they believe in. So they have the leap year. You guys know what the leap year is? They put the hour ahead 1 hour and they delay it 1 hour. In some Muslim countries, they don't do that. And it's better because time is only for Allah. They play with the time. Back to the point. 3 things. What does it mean to free yourself from the mushrikeen? Number 1, their ibadah. We don't do any ibadah that they do. We don't do it. And you'll be surprised and shocked how people will give dawah. Like in the city of Orlando, we would like to deal with giving dawah interfaith dialogue. Going to Christians, going to Jews, if they want. And let's discuss. And maybe collectively there may be some mashari that we have to come together with them on. Like LGBT. There may be Christians or Jews who want to push back on LGBT. We'll say, okay, let's do that. We don't have a problem with that. A ta'awun. Al-birri wa taqwa. No problem. But I've seen when people do interfaith dialogue, before starting the thing, they say, let's make a dua, let's make a prayer. So the Jew goes first. He does a prayer. And the Muslim stands up and he says, Ameen, Ameen. Then the Christian prays, oh Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and this, and the Muslim say, Ameen, Ameen. You can't do that. And then the Sikh does it, and then the Muslim says, no, I gotta say as a Muslim, nah, I'm not participating in that prayer. I'm not gonna, because I can't. I can't say Ameen, and I know you're making dua to a monkey, a cow, Isa, but I can't do that. I'll give you another example. The emoji. Someone, his wife is in the hospital, or she's gonna have a baby, or he's gonna travel, take an exam. He'll send a text message and say, my exam is today, auntie, uncle, make dua for me. And they send you hands like this. Hands like this. Do we pray like this? Do we make dua like this? I'm doing mixed martial arts. My son, he goes to the sensei, who's from the Orient, Japanese guy. And they have to bow down to him out of respect. It's not ibadah, like Yusuf and his brothers, his mother and his father bowing down to Yusuf. It's a tahiyyah, it's a respect. So he wants us as Muslims to bow down to him because he's the sensei. We say, we're not doing that. In all due respect, because in our religion, the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people say, Ya Rasulullah, they came from Yemen. They say, when we meet our brother, should we bow down to him? He said, no. He said, should we grab him and hold him? He said, no, the way they were doing it. He said, should we shake his hand? He said, yes. And the musafaha is khayr. If two Muslims meet each other and they shake hands, tatasaqatu dhunubuhum, their sins fall off. And Rasulullah would shake your hand and he would never let it go until you let it go. Because he was humble. Now I know there's some young brothers, once they hear that hadith and they grab it, they'll never let your hand go. You say, okay, I gotta go to work now. When I was coming in, I saw the brothers go. I said, hey, I'm here, I gotta go. They said, we have to go to work. You get the khutbah on Friday. When I became a Muslim, a new Muslim, on Friday, the African American imam, he would give a khutbah for 2 hours. And the people would talk. While he was talking, they would say, that's right, that's right. Tell us about it, brother, preach. Bring it on home. That was my people. And some of them still do that right now as Muslims, because they were Nation of Islam, kuffar, then they became real Muslims. Walakin jahl. And I love those people. Because they're my people. It's just they need people to help educate them and things like 2 hours. And it was always kalam fari. He'll get up there and you start talking about, you know, in the hair is a sign. This is the khutbah. In the hair is a sign. Everywhere you look on your body where there's hair, there are powerful things going on. Like in your hair, in your head, look at your brain. Over your eyes, look at the eyesight. Over your lips, your tongue and speaking. And look at your lihya, and then under your arm, your strength. And then look at you reproductive. Say, man, what are you talking about, man? This is, what's kind of, we want to know our religion. But that's how they work. May Allah guide them. My people, may Allah guide them. Back to the point. We don't do the ibadah of non-Muslims. We don't do ibadah of the non-Muslims. And those dhikrbees, there is a thing called the rosary in Christianity. You know the dhikrbees, they have that in their religion. They look exactly the same. Exactly the same. And the monks and the priests, they carry those. Now, if a person wanted to use the dhikrbees, I'm not going to make a big deal out of that. I'll tell them, use your hand, because your fingers will come and bear witness for you, Yawm al-Qiyamah. And ma yuribuka, ila ma la yuribuka. Leave those dhikrbees, because it's similar to those people. From that bad, it's better for you. The second thing that we don't do, or freeing ourselves from them, is the aqidah. We don't believe in what they believe in unless our religion aqarru. For an example, in their aqidah, you know what this is called? An Adam's apple. They call it the Adam. Nabi Allah Abu Bashar. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. The first Nabi. They call this the Adam's apple. Why they call it that? Because Adam went to the apple tree and he ate an apple, and his adab was Allah put this in his neck. So they call it right now your Adam's apple. Not medically, it's something else. But for regular people, the awam, that's what it is. And they also believe because his wife was the one who went to the tree first, that now she has to get babies as an adab. As an adab. Because she was the one who seduced Adam to go to the tree first. We don't believe in that stuff. We don't believe in that. The Prophet said, إِذَا حَدَّثَتْكُمْ أَهْلُ الْكِتَابِ فَلَا تُصَدِّقُوهُمْ وَلَا تُكَذِّبُوهُم. Don't believe them, don't disbelieve them, until our religion proves that. The cartoons that our children watch, they grew up, the devil, Shaitan, he has a red suit, he has a long tail, he has a pitchfork, and he's over the hellfire. Shaitan is not over the hellfire in our religion. Shaitan is going to be in the hellfire. and he's going to be punished by the nar of Jahannam. There's an angel who's in charge of the hellfire, and his name is Malik. He's in charge of the hellfire, and he's going to punish Shaitan. But in their theology, it's other than the Malaika. The Malaika are little white naked babies flying around. You saw the statues. You know what I'm talking about? Like where I'm staying right now, when you come into that place, they have the waterfall, beautiful waterfall. They have dolphins, it's coming out of the mouth, the water, the fountain. And they have naked European babies. Anyone who sees it said, that's the angel, because of Michelangelo and those people. They paint that stuff on their murals and on their buildings. That's not an angel in Islam. That's not an angel flying around naked. We have to look at the theology of Islam, the Aqidah of Islam. The Malaika are created from Nur. The Malaika, they do things, they don't do things. Not what they're talking about. And there are many, many things like that that come in those cartoons. And it comes in their popular culture. The number 13 is an unlucky number. Some of these hotels go 1, 2, 3, first floor, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. And if a person goes to get checked in and they say, oh, you put me in room 666, man, I don't want this room. Why you don't want this room? Because 666 is the mark of the devil. You guys heard of the Exorcist movie, right? We used to believe that stuff. It is a bad sign. If a person gets a car and he goes get a license plate and he gets 666, he thinks it's bad luck. It's a bad omen. Rasulullah said, if there was a bad omen in anything, something was inherently bad. Like before the football game, the Miami Dolphins, before the football game, if you see a white dove fly by, people become optimistic. Oh yeah, we're gonna win the game. He got married, saw a white dove. But if he sees a black crow, he says, oh boy, this is a bad sign. A bad sign, a bad omen. No, that has nothing to do with the qadr. It has nothing to do with what's been written for you, bad or good. A man comes in and you go for your job interview. You go for your job interview and you find your interviewer, his name is Muhammad Sadiq Al-Amin. That's something you could, to step shit, you say, wow, this is a good sign. Muslim with that name? But that doesn't mean you're gonna get that job. Something could be wrong with him where he's gonna not hire any Muslim. He said, if there was a bad omen, if there was, it would be in your markub, it would be in your house, it would be in your woman, in your wife. But there's no bad omen like that, that someone or something is inherently bad. So when it relates to our aqidah, we don't believe in what these people believe. We don't believe a black cat will give you bad luck, you break the mirror, you have 7 years of that. We don't believe in any of that stuff. Dream catchers. You guys know what a dream catcher is? There's this thing from the Native Americans, the Indians. It has feathers on it, and you put it over your bed, over your door, and if you have a bad dream, it takes it away. It'll prevent it, the bad dream will come out of your head and go into that. And they make popular movies like Freddy Krueger. I think his name, Freddy Krueger. The guy who's killing everybody. Freddy Krueger, the other guy, Michael Myers, Halloween. These movies are franchises that make hundreds of millions of dollars, and our kids go to that because it's entertainment. Even if he said, I don't really believe in this stuff, we can't go see movies like that. Lastly, and this is the point, we can't do their Eid. We can't do the Eid, the A'yad of the Mushrikeen. We can't do their Eid. Al-bara'atu min ash-shirk wal-mushrikeen. You can't do their Eid. A companion said, Ya Rasulullah, I made another to slaughter a camel at a place called Bawana. Should I do my another? He said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in that place, Al-Bawana, in that place, is that a place where the asnam of the mushrikeen are? He said, no. No. He said, in that place, is that a place where the mushrikeen do worship? He said, no. He said, in that place, Al-Bawana, is that a place where the mushrikeen have the a'yad, the celebration? He said, no. He said, Ibn Ofi, be another, then do your oath. Go ahead and slaughter at that place. Because their idols are not there. Their idols, don't do that. When he saw the Muslims celebrating what the non-Muslims were doing, he said, Allah changed for better what you do. Don't do that. Don't do their stuff, it's better. As it relates to Ibrahim, قَدْ كَانَتْ لَكُمْ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ فِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ إِذْ قَالُوا لِقَوْمِهِمْ إِنَّا بُرَآءُ مِنْكُمْ وَمِمَّا تَعْبُدُونَ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ كَفَرْنَا بِكُمْ وَبَدَا بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمُ الْعَدَاوَةُ وَالْبَغْضَاءُ أَبَدًا حَتَّى تُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَحْدَهُ. You have in Ibrahim a perfect example. And those people who were with Ibrahim, his ummah, when they said to their people, Ibrahim's father, Isaac, and the rest of them, we are free from you and from what you worship along with Allah. We disbelieve in all of that. And there has appeared between us an adawa wal baghdha. We don't love what you're doing. We're not on that. We don't make mujamala. We don't do that. There's adawa and baghdha. We don't like it until you worship Allah all by himself. And there are many ayat like that as it relates to Ibrahim. Like Allah mentioned in the Quran, إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وُضِيَ لِلنَّاسِ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّةَ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّةَ مُبَارَكًا وَهُدًى لِلْعَالَمِينَ فِيهِ آيَاتٌ بَيِّنَاتٌ مَقَامُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. In the Kaaba, in the first house, is Ibrahim's, the maqam of Ibrahim. That's where, this is like the Kaaba, and then the Hajar right there, and this is the maqam Ibrahim. Rasulullah, Allah told the people, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. After you make tawaf 7 times, you go behind this and you make 2 rakats. You can read any surahs of the Quran, but the sunnah is to read قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. In the second ayat, rakat, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Those 2 surahs. Showing we're free from them. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. That's your religion. Christmas, that's your religion. I'm not going to be nasty to you. I'm not going to make sub and shut. I'm not going to do that. But I am not going to be easy in this because they say, you sneeze, I choke. We say, Alhamdulillah. They say, God bless you. Oh, I see that easy. Thank you. Thank you for that dua. Thank you. But I wouldn't call God God myself. I try to warn people because Allah is not God. Allah is not God. That word God in English is not like an ilah in Arabic. God can be Jesus, it could be anything. So I stay away from that word. If I'm talking to non-Muslims, I'll call him Allah. And I'll explain to them when I say Allah, this is not the God or the one who Arabs worship. No, it's the creator, the stain, and all of that stuff. But sometimes, you just have to know your audience. But the point here is, these celebrations are something that we should avoid. But there are certain things you can't avoid. Like you drive the taxi, you have to take them to Christmas service, you have to take them to the bar, you have to take them to the Halloween party. That's your job. If you can avoid it, avoid it. But you can't avoid it. I work They give me a Christmas bonus every year. I'm not going to tell them keep the Christmas bonus. Give me the Christmas bonus. And I'm going to give sadaqah with the bonus. I'm going to pay my car insurance with the bonus. Because I shouldn't pay car insurance. But if I don't pay car insurance, I'm going to get in trouble. So I got to pay car insurance. I'm going to take that bonus and I'm going to give it in sadaqah and not expect any reward. I'm not going to be weird and strange and I'm in a professional environment. Do you brothers know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to walk sometimes without his shoes on? Did you know that? Intentionally. He said, Innal badadata min al-iman. To not groom yourself is from iman. Not to be a person who's metrosexual. You know metrosexual? He's not a homosexual, but it's a man who's like a ta'us. He's really always like in the mirror, like always just, you know, it's the woman tatazay, she really is with the zina. It's the man who's like that. He goes overboard. Rasulullah, he was a man, rajula, he had that. So if we drink water, for an example, and you see your son drinking tea like this, like that, you say, hey, don't drink tea like that. Is it haram? Well, in our culture, that's the way an effeminate person drinks tea. They taught people in London and England, women drink tea like that. They put their finger up, you know. So we have to have that. He said, al-badada, that's when you don't comb your beard. That's when he will walk barefooted. So the person says, I'm going to go to Disney World where I'm I'm an accountant, a CEO or something like that. I have a professional job as a muhandis. And I'm going to go to the office today with no shoes on and say, the sunnah. No, you're not telling people that. That's ghulu. You're going astray. You have to dress properly, dress the way the people dress, and so forth and so on. Even wearing thobes. If it's not appropriate, they don't want you doing that, then you shouldn't do it. But I do say we still have to establish our religion to the best of our ability. To the best of our ability. And not be apologetic. Especially here in America, because the hurriya, the democracy that we have in expressing ourselves. So this is what I wanted to mention to this group here today, that as it relates to the issue of these celebrations, it is not an easy thing. It is not something that is hayyin, layyin. It's just sahl. This is a serious issue with how we exist with these people and these holidays that they have. You guys know Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving, it's a big holiday here in my house. My mother will get a halal turkey and cook the halal. But because it's halal, I'm gonna it makes it, no. I always tell my people when I come here for Thanksgiving. I come here for Christmas. So there's a Christmas tree in my mother's house. She has a dog, but I'm there so I can control the situation. But on the day of Christmas, I'm not going to be there. I have been there on Christmas Day, but when they're ready to eat, they let me talk. They ask me to make the dua over the food. So I make the dua. And I start calling Allah, Allah. Allah, you're the one who created us. You're the one who help us not to worship other than you. And they look like this. But that's how I validate my presence. My relatives die. I don't go to their funerals because the ayat of Allah tustahzu biha is shirk and kufr and what they're doing and saying. But they allow me to do the eulogy. I could say some words about my Uncle Pete who died a few months ago. So when I say those words, I start talking about death. Everybody's gonna die. And when you die, you better know that what you're worshiping, and I give them that. So that's my dawah to them. But I'm easy. I'm not rough and tough. So Thanksgiving, they're celebrating the decimation of the Native Americans, the Indians. They came to this country. Those pilgrims and those Europeans came to this country, found the Indians, in Florida, from Florida all the way up to Canada. Those Eskimos, they were from the east all the way to the west. The native, they had their own culture, and it was pretty advanced. The white man came and decimated these people. And then they have a day called Thanksgiving, the day that they thank their God, this white supremacy. They worship, they give thanks on the day that they got rid of the Indians. I said to my people, how would you people like it if there was a holiday where they celebrated slavery and what happened to my people, us? They celebrated what they did to our forefathers, brought them from West Africa, took our religion, Islam, took our language, our culture, did what they did to us. I'm sure some of you older brothers saw that movie Roots. That was just a movie. It was worse than that. They would cut your hand off, cut your feet off. We're brothers today. Tomorrow they'll send you to Alabama, they'll send you to California, and they break your family up. Generation after generation, to this very day, 2024, African Americans still have problems from slavery. That's not an excuse. I'm not using that as a crutch that we can always, the white man, no. But you'll find every group of people can come to America. Every group of people can come to America and advance, and African Americans are still mutakhallifun. Some of the reasons are within us, and some of them are within the system. There is still institutionalized racism. Ask my people, how would you like if these people made an ihtifal for this day, for this occurrence? We're gonna say, oh, that's not nice. So your Eid should be something that is good, is pure, is wholesome, it's universally accepted. But their ayat is for dhulm, shirk, kufr, fisq, khurafat, sihr. It's for stuff like that. Just look at, you name it. It's capitalism. Tell me something. Jesus, did he die on Easter Day? Did he die on Easter Day? Ma qataluhu yaqinan. Ma qataluhu ma salabuhu. They didn't kill Isa. All right. Well, that can be naftarah. They believe that. He died. He died and came back to life. What does the rabbit have to do with that? What does it have to do with that? The rabbit, chocolate, what does it have to do with it? His birth. What does a Christmas tree have to do with that? And the lights, and this has nothing to do with it. It's just steeped in shirk and kufr, and they turned it into capitalism. They just turned it into making money. The Muslim has to be aql than that. Inna Allah yuhibbu ma'ali al-umur wa yakrahu safsafa. The Muslim has to be more clued up. And even if he doesn't believe that, although he doesn't believe in those things, we still have to be respectful that this is the people's religion and their way of life. And we shouldn't make a sub and shetam and be mean and nasty. But we should give dawah. This is what I wanted to mention to you brothers. One of the last surahs that was revealed in the Quran is Surah At-Tawbah. At-Tawbah. It has ayatul safe in there. A lot of ayats. One of the names of Surah At-Tawbah, Surah Al-Bara'. Al-Bara'. وَأَذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِلَى النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ أَنَّ اللَّهَ بَرِيءٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولُهُ. When this ayat was revealed, Rasulullah sent Abu Bakr, and he went around the Kaaba. He went to the Kaaba. He said, no one should go around the Kaaba who's a mushrik after today. After today, no mushrik can make tawaf around the Bayt of Allah. And no one should go around the Kaaba naked after today. And then this whole thing of Islam taking over the Arabian Peninsula and Mecca and so forth. These things happen. So We want to, inshallah, just advise you brothers with that. And may Allah accept it from us and make it easy for us. Stay on top of our children in this regard, because these people are really, really working on our Shabbat. And Allah is Allah and Alam. And once again, Ikhwani, I'm sorry for being late. All right? I feel so bad about that. I mean, Imam who prays in the masjid, especially Fajr. Trust me, believe me. But today, you know that the Prophet was worshiping. The Prophet was traveling, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and from his traveling, he made Bilal ibn Rabah. His job was, Bilal, we're gonna go to sleep. You wake us up. He was the alarm clock. You wake us up. Al-ittihad bil-asbab. You have to set your alarm clock. The sun came up, Rasulullah woke up, and the sun was up. And Bilal was sleeping, snoring. Rasulullah said, Bilal, what happened? He said, Ya Rasulullah, akhadhani alladhi akhadhakum. You went to sleep and I went to sleep. This is what happened. Rasulullah didn't, give rough. He said to the people, let us get up, because this is the place of a shaitan. And let's move our place. And they went over there and made wudu. They prayed 2 rakat al-fajr. Rakat al-fajri khayru min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. They prayed 2 sunnahs, and the sun, it was out of time. And then they prayed Salatul Fajr in Jama'ah. So it even passed Rasulullah where he didn't pray on time. In that instance, and in the battle of Uhud, those kuffar, they were fighting the Muslims, and they couldn't say time out. Do you guys know that time out means respect the cross? Did you know that? Time out, the origin of it is, it's a cross saying, hey, respect, stop, slow down. When Rasulullah went into his house, if there was anything inadvertently shaped like a cross, he would break it. No one would bring anything in his house. That's what it was, just shaped like a cross. It just happened to be looking like that. His sunnah was, he would break it. The companion Adi ibn Hatim al-Ta'i, his father's Hatim al-Ta'i, the well-known man, he was a Christian in Jahiliyyah. He came with a cross. He said, Ilqi anka, sanam al-Jahiliyyah. Take that thing off of you. Take that sanam, that idol of Jahiliyyah. And you'll find the Muslim kid getting a cross tattooed on his body. From the Khalij, I saw that. He has a cross on his body. Why? Because some players from Manchester United have it. Some players from Liverpool have it. So he put a cross tattoo. So the referee blows the whistle. Timeout, stop, respect. So it's a lot of stuff in their culture that has its origin in this madness. But we have to be careful, because some people say that the tie is a cross. I don't believe that. I looked into that and never found out that the tie is the cross. So people, they say you shouldn't wear the tie. I don't believe that. Me personally. So we should not be mutashaddideen and make haram and make things difficult. But I was mentioning something right before that. I forgot what it was. Anybody remember? Anyway, I was making a point. Anyway, that's what we wanted to mention, Ikhwan. Allah bless you all. Wafikum barakallah ya akhi Sarah. Yeah. We're going to have breakfast here today? Here, right? I thought so. I just didn't know what the system was. That's all.